Have you ever considered that living alone in old age might secretly be one of the best choices you could make? For many seniors, the thought of being on their own brings up worries, loneliness, silence, even fear. But what if solitude later in life isn't a burden at all, but actually a hidden blessing? As we grow older, society often expects us to slow down, depend on others, or live according to someone else's schedule. Yet, the truth is, living alone can offer unexpected rewards that go far beyond just peace and quiet. It can bring deep, meaningful changes that quietly improve your well-being, strengthen your sense of purpose, and even reintroduce joy into your everyday life. Whether you're already living solo, considering it, or simply curious about what it might bring, this exploration may open your eyes to possibilities you hadn't considered. And by the end, you might see that living alone in your later years isn't just manageable. It could be one of the most empowering decisions you'll ever make. One of the most overlooked but powerful benefits of living alone is the complete freedom to design your own daily rhythm. Every hour truly becomes yours. You choose when to wake up, when to eat, when to rest, and when to be active. There's no need to adjust for anyone else's habits. That may seem like a small thing, but for many older adults, it brings a quiet kind of peace. You can listen to your body and move at your own pace. If you feel stiff in the morning, you can take your time. If you prefer breakfast at 10 instead of 7, no one's questioning it. Want to nap in the afternoon or walk after dark? You decide. That autonomy, owning your time, can be incredibly grounding. There's also something psychologically healing about this independence. After decades of raising children, caring for spouses, or compromising for others, living alone allows you to reconnect with yourself. You begin to rediscover what feels good for you, not just what works for others. This shift helps you reclaim your preferences, your energy, and even your confidence. Take Harold, for example, a 74-year-old retiree who had always lived in a full household. When he found himself alone, he feared the silence. But over time, what surprised him wasn't the quiet, it was the joy of following his own rhythm. He began reading in the mornings again, walking when he wanted, and cooking exactly what he liked. He didn't have to explain his choices or please anyone else. He felt more centered, more in tune with himself than he had in years. Living alone doesn't mean being cut off from others. You still meet friends, spend time with family, and engage in your community. But your home becomes your sanctuary, shaped entirely by your needs, your pace, and your peace. And there's a quiet joy in waking up each day knowing that your time belongs to you. That kind of freedom isn't just a convenience, it's powerful. It helps you feel more alive and more connected to what matters most. Another subtle but profound benefit of solitude in old age is emotional clarity. When a home is filled with noise, conversations, and daily responsibilities centered on others, it's difficult to fully hear your own thoughts. But in solitude, stillness gives your mind room to settle. Over time, that quiet can bring a sense of calm and clarity, improving emotional well-being. For those who've spent years caring for others, this can feel like a return home to yourself. You're no longer constantly reacting to someone else's moods or needs. Instead, you begin to notice your own feelings and thoughts without having to explain or justify them. That self-awareness is healing. It allows space for old emotions to surface gently, for reflection, and for wise, deliberate choices. This inner quiet can even reduce stress. Without the need to compromise on routines or manage conflicts, your nervous system relaxes. Solitude becomes restorative, not isolating. Just ask Judith, who, at 78, has lived alone since her husband passed. At first, the silence unnerved her. She left the TV on all day, just to fill the space. But over time, she began turning it off. Sitting with her tea, listening to the birds, journaling in peace. She described it as finally hearing her own voice again. She wasn't lonely, she was becoming emotionally whole. Many assume solitude leads to emptiness. But for older adults, it can create a new kind of fullness, richness that comes from within. Without the distractions of others' emotional worlds, you can finally tend to your own. And that kind of emotional self-care, practiced quietly and consistently, becomes one of the most valuable gifts of living alone as time goes on. Another benefit emerges: rediscovering and strengthening your personal identity. When you're not constantly surrounded by others' opinions or needs, you begin to notice who you are now, not just who you used to be. This stage of life becomes an opportunity for reinvention or even reclamation. Many seniors find they've spent decades living for others, parenting, working, caregiving. Now, for the first time, they can focus inward. They reconnect with interests and passions they set aside. They notice what energizes them, what they enjoy, and what they no longer need to carry. Take Glenn, 79, who, after losing his wife, moved into a small home alone. At first, the space felt empty, but slowly, he began painting again, a hobby he hadn't touched in years. He joined local art classes, started cooking for himself, and made his own schedule. He wasn't just passing time, he was rediscovering who he was. Living alone didn't strip him of purpose, helped him find a deeper one. This renewal brings confidence. You stop shrinking to fit others' expectations and start living from your own center. Others notice too the way you walk, speak, and engage. It radiates from the quiet strength of knowing and liking who you are. One fear many have is social isolation, but the reality for many seniors living alone is quite the opposite. The connections they make become more intentional, more meaningful. You're no longer spending time with people just because they're nearby. You choose who to connect with. Then those choices are guided by genuine interest, not obligation. This intentional socializing often results in deeper bonds. You notice who truly sees and energizes you. You call old friends, join groups that reflect your interests, and create space for real conversation and connection. Mary, 81, thought living alone would mean being disconnected, but in her small cottage, she found clarity. She started hosting a monthly book club with a few women from church. They share stories, recipes, and laughter. Mary says she feels more socially fulfilled now than when she was constantly surrounded by family. Because these connections are chosen, they feel more alive. Meaningful relationships, not just frequent ones, have been shown to improve life satisfaction and even physical health. And living alone can give you the space to nurture exactly those kinds of connections. There's also a very practical benefit to living alone: the ability to create a home that supports your health and comfort completely. Every element of your space can be designed around your needs, from the layout to the lighting. From the organization to the temperature, you can remove trip hazards, add grab bars, arrange furniture for easier movement, and create a setting that truly supports aging with grace. You're not waiting for someone else to agree to changes or adjusting for their habits. That control can make your home not just safer, but far more nurturing. Robert, 83. Downsized after his wife passed. In his new apartment, he chose soft lighting, calm colors, and a layout that supported his mobility. He even added an indoor garden, something he always wanted. His home became not a reminder of loss, but a sanctuary for the life he was building now. Environmental psychologists have found that when older adults feel in control of their surroundings, their stress goes down, and their emotional resilience goes up. A home that fits your current needs reinforces the idea that you're not helpless, you're actively shaping your experience of aging. There's also a beautiful simplicity: less mess, fewer chores, only your preferences to consider. That simplicity brings a quiet comfort that's hard to overstate. Now that we've walked through these 5 hidden benefits: daily freedom, emotional clarity, stronger identity, richer relationships, and a healthier home, it's worth reflecting on what they add up to. Together, they reveal that solitude in old age isn't about being alone, it's about being free. Free to be who you are, to live how you choose, and to find peace in your own company. Living alone doesn't mean isolation. It means intention. It means choosing how you want to live and who you want to become. And for many, that choice leads to surprising strength, clarity, and joy. So if you're living alone now or thinking about it, remember this. You're not simply coping. You're creating. You're designing a life rooted in your own rhythm, values, and truth. And that might just be one of the most powerful things you'll ever do. Thank you for being here. If something in this resonated with you, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to leave a comment sharing what stood out and how you plan to use it in your life. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating thoughtful content to inform and inspire. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.